going to do here, I will explain you now very clearly. Let me go back to my tool. What I try to do using some other transformations here. I go into this. The first thing, I extracted entire data. I haven't touched anything on the source side. Because every day the dimensional data comes in, guys. You can't filter the dimensional data. Though Syed told at the application level we can filter and get only the current. There is an option, but that becomes kind of a tedious thing to write that logic. So instead I have got the entire customer data and I'm doing a table compare. Let us go and look at table compare what I am trying to do. In the table compare, I have chosen my target table as my table to compare. So, and I am asking it to compare based on the customer indicator, customer ID and the current indicator. Why am I using current indicator? It should not update everything. It should update only the current record. Okay. I will show you how it will only take care of the current record, not all the records. But I am making this as primary key. So I am saying use this current customer ID and current indicator as my key columns and compare with all these columns: customer class F, name 1, address, city, region. These are all the columns I am comparing. So any change that can occur in these columns will be treated as a dimensional change. So it will undate the first record and insert a new record with the new information that we have provided. But the update will still not happen. Here the comparison will happen and the output you will get will be passed into a history preserving transform. A history preserving transform is very efficient that it can do the date columns. It can update the start date, end date of the current record, and it will put a new value, new start date and new end date for the current record. And it can also update the indicator field, which we call as a current indicator. The old record with 0, sorry, the current record with 0, the old record, the value will be reset to 1. And how it will do the history preserving is again based on this set of columns. These are all the columns that it is going to compare. If you make a change to the customer itself, it is not going to work. The scope here is the customer ID should be the same because he is the same customer. Any information related to that customer will get updated, and then it keeps the original record as original, only end dating him with a certain date, and coming back it will try to insert one more record with a new address or the change in the data that happened for that customer. So let me repeat the entire process one more time and I will give you a chance for questions. So let me reload everything. Then you will understand what I tried to do. Now the mapping is built. I'm going to run a delete statement on the target. Delete from this table. I know it is going to be very tough to understand in one shot, but you will have to work on this, only then you can understand it. You have a week time in between. Utilize the time, learn all this and then come back, so that you can make use of the sessions in a real good manner than just learning it and leaving it into air. So now I have run a delete. I'm going to run a select and see if there is data. There is no data. Without any changes to this job, let me run the job as it is. Before we run that, let us go and see what is in our source. What is the data we have in source? It is the latest data. Don't forget, this is already been updated. Now the original address is Civic Center and Training Clouds is also here. We are going to change the data second time when we load. But the first time when I load, I'm going to load it normally and I want it to really use the load date here for the start date so that you don't get confused. Because that is very important for me. I know Chaudhary Babu told me that I am using a wrong column, but I did not listen to him. I think even Hilal mentioned, but I did not listen to him. I am sorry about that. So it is, I was using load date and load date. I got confused. So I have to use the load date so that whatever the date I am passing comes in here. Now I validate it. no errors found, and let us just run the job as it is. I'm not making any damn changes here. I have built a type 2 transformation. I'm doing my initial load, guys. This is the initial load. So do not expect any wonders there. You'll see the data normally. There is no change in the data. Let me run this select statement and see what is in data. So you see only this set of records. Note how many records you are seeing here. Someone wants to do a quick count? Not required. Tool does it for us. There are 12 records here. Every record has a start date as 1950 January 26th and end date as 9999 December 31st. Alright. Now I wanted to change the address. Let us take a different person. Now why don't I give a chance? Sridevi, why don't you select one of the address whom you wanted to update here? New Times. So you don't want this guy to be in Memphis. You wanted to move it to Fremont. Let us move him to Fremont. So I am going to go to overview, and in ODS customer, I will have to say edit table data. And Sridevi picked that she wanted to change the New York Times from Memphis and she wanted to move to Fremont. And if I am not wrong, the zip code of Fremont will be 94576 or oh, I'm close there. So this street we will give as 100 Fremont BLVD, and the address is updated. So any one of you, Chaudhary Babu, why don't you pick one name? Whom do you want to update? Yeah, now we are going to change the company name itself. Tell me which company you wanted to change and I will put your name on there. Which one? Okay, he has trouble with his microphone, I think. So on behalf of Chaudhary Babu, you don't need to struggle. Please mute yourself because there is a noise. On behalf of Chaudhary Babu, instead of Putti Ceramics, I am making it as Babu Ceramics. So then I validate it. Now the data is updated. I have updated this one and I also updated uh, New Times address here. So we have two updates. Now I run the same job. See what is going to happen. There is no change I am making to the job. I run it. It has to do what I want it to do. But then let us go and look at the data that was in target so that you will not have any confusion. Because I know after we change the data, we surely have a reference there. But then I don't want it to mess it up because understanding type 2 dimension is a little bit complex. So you will have to put your mind, your brain there. So if you see here, we had it as Putti Ceramics. I made it Babu Ceramics now. The New York Times current address is Memphis. I changed it. So I'm running my job. Actually, if the debugger is working, if we look at the debugger, it will be crystal clear. It will show you what the records it treated, how it is being treated. You can actually do that exercise in your home. Run it in the debug mode. You will see the difference. I'm going to give these jobs to you. Don't worry, guys. This is your lab exercise. Lab exercise online and live. So you can do it yourself and come back next week and say, this is not working for me. We will redo the session. So now the data got loaded. I go into my EDW. I wanted to query on this table. Perfect. Let me sort it here. So when I sort it, the first thing I wanted to see is Putti Ceramics. You tell me now, did we do it correctly or did we do it wrongly? There is one small mistake. I have to go and adjust it. The end date is wrong here because the end date I have picked up I think yeah, the end date here is wrong actually. I have to make the change. Hold on guys, before we go and look at, I have to go and make a small change here so that you'll not have it. Yeah. Yeah, the end date will change. That is the history preserving transform. That is how it has to work. You see here, use one day before valid from date for new record. That is what has validated it, and it will put yesterday as the end date for it. So it depends on your start date. So now here is the trick. Valid from date and new record will get an high date, that is fine. But now I will have a trouble because I'm doing everything as of today, guys. That is the trouble I have now. So one day, then the new record. Okay. So I have to go and update the date also there. Okay. Let me quickly rerun and you should be able to understand, guys. Pardon me for just 2 minutes. You should be able to see it in perfect format, because see, we are trying to do the history load but instantaneously. History load has to happen at least with a gap of 3 to 5 days, then you'll understand it properly. But because we are doing on the fly everything at a time, maybe it is a little bit trickier for you to understand now. So what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to reload the same thing. uh, don't worry about what I'm trying to do. You can actually smile. You can actually talk to each other, whoever on the call, and see if everyone are active. Ever you talked, all of you guys who are on the training session, ever you talked offline? Why don't you make friends? You're going to be in the job in the ETL world. Why don't you make friends? And sometime Hilal gets in a problem, Ashok will help. When Ashok is in a problem, he can call Syed. Why don't you become friends, guys? The professional friends, actually. Yeah, try that out. You can interact with each other, and it works for you really good when you are going to work in a real time environment. You need all these professional contacts. If you are all trying to ping me and ask me the same question, I won't be able to answer you 100 times, right? So that's where is the trick. So now I have reloaded. What the thing I have to do is I have to go and make one more change again in the source. Let me show you before I make the change. So what the data we have is, now it is Babu Ceramics. It has already been updated the Fremont address because this is the current data I have in the source. Now I have to redo the update. So let me redo the update. When I run next time, I will be very cautious that I will have to pass something new. Only then it makes sense for me. The reason I tell you is, start date of new address is not this address, right? Start date of new address should be today, guys. I forget to pass that start date. That is where is the mistake. I will have to pass today's date. I will do that. Just give me 2 seconds. So here I will have to go and update it again. The source, I have to say edit table data, and Babu Ceramics, now I will say Krishna Ceramics. Krishna and Babu are friends, so they will agree upon each other. So training clouds, I will put the real address of training clouds so that I get an update. 4040 Civic Center Drive. Today I will even show you my room, guys. It is fabulous. If you are here, you would have learned data services even in a better manner. You will see me, my expressions. In one of the videos, actually I have put myself because it got recorded like that. I don't want it to change it. Though I can take off my face from there. Look at the video. You will see me, my expressions, everything when my feelings when I do the class. I enjoy doing these sessions, guys. I don't know about you.